Hi, welcome to our show. I'm Vida, here to present you our top story this week. Chinese President Xi Jinping reassures support despite potential EBA withdrawal. Coronavirus patient recovers in Sihanoukville. Sihanouk province plans to demolish illegal homes for flood mitigation. City Hall orders tobacco companies to stop advertising. Trade volume with South Korea reaches 1 billion in 2019. Let's begin with the EBA but arms saga. President Xi Jinping has reportedly reassured that China will continue to support the kingdom's economy despite an upcoming potential EBA suspension. Prime Minister delegate attached to the Prime Minister said Mr. Xi made the statement to Mr. Hun Sen during his visit to China on Wednesday. Mr. Hun Sen was the first world leader to show support for the fight against the coronavirus outbreak by visiting China and meeting Mr. Xi. Mr. Xi reportedly said, quote, "I know Cambodia is being pressured by the European Union over EBA. No matter what, Cambodia should not bow its head to the EU. Some countries' attempts to provoke a color revolution in Cambodia." Mr. Kim Hun said Mr. Hun Sen requested Mr. Xi to lend support encouraging Chinese investors to keep garment factories in the kingdom. Cambodian imports under the scheme accounted for 18% of all imports coming into the European Union market under the EBA last year. The imports, which included clothes and textile products, were worth about $6 billion in 2018. The loss of the EBA is predicted to cost Cambodian millions of dollars. About 800,000 garment and textile factory workers are at risk of losing their jobs. The EC is set to decide the fate of Cambodia's potential EBA threat status next week. The EBA has been under review due to perceived democratic and human rights setbacks. The review followed the court dissolution of the CNRP and the arrest of its leader Kem Sokha over treason charges in 2017. According to a European Parliament report issued last year, a suspension would take effect in August. The report said, quote, "Depending on developments in the country, the Commission has to decide by February 2020 whether or not to suspend Cambodia's EBA privileges fully or in part. A suspension would finally come into effect 6 months later by August 2020. The 60-year-old Chinese man in Sihanouk infected with the coronavirus has tested negative for the virus, the health ministry announced yesterday. He is expected to be released from the hospital on Monday. On January 27, the ministry announced the first novel coronavirus case detected in the kingdom. It named the victim as a Chia Jianhua. Mr. Chia and 3 family members arrived in Sihanouk International Airport on January 23. He tested positive for the virus 2 days later and was quarantined. Sejo Satichot, Deputy Director of the Provincial Health Department, said the Pasteur Institute in Phnom Penh tested samples of Mr. Chia 8 times since he has been hospitalized. The latest results show he no longer carries the virus. Mr. Satichot said, quote, "It is the first time we recorded a negative result since he started receiving treatment. If the second result is still negative, it means he no longer has the coronavirus. He no longer shows symptoms and he seems to be fine now. However, we have to wait for final approval from a higher level about what to do next." A Sihanouk Provincial Hall official earlier on Monday said it is aiming to demolish more than 1,000 illegal built homes for flood mitigation. Last year, floods in Sihanoukville and Prenop district inundated National Road 3 and affected businesses. 2 people died and hundreds of homes were damaged. Bo Watana, Deputy Director of the Provincial Intersector Department, on Monday said Provincial Hall is aiming to widen canals by demolishing illegal built homes along waterways. Mr. Watana said, quote, "The projects will affect more than 1,000 homes, some of which will be completely demolished, while portions of others which encroach into project sites will be removed. About 300 homes are to be completely torn down. We met the affected residents a month ago to explain the situation and will issue evictions letter before tearing down the houses of those who do not agree to move out on their own. Those who have illegally built their houses along the canals have also agreed to take down the structures on their own." He said Provincial Governor Gu Chamran is looking into providing social land concession to those who will be homeless. Provincial Hall in August announced it will repair and widen canals in the city to alleviate the damage caused by the floods. Prime Minister Hun Sen in November announced the government will spend 170 million to also tackle waste disposal problems in the city. The City Hall has ordered tobacco companies to cease advertising and displaying cigarettes in public because doing so violates the law on tobacco control. City Hall said that displaying cigarette boxes is a direct violation of the law. It said, quote, City Hall noticed that some tobacco companies are promoting large-scale cigarette sales in an attempt to lure cigarette smokers to join a competition to win a prize. City Hall administration will cooperate with the Health Ministry and other relevant institutions to monitor tobacco companies which have violated the law on tobacco control, so legal action can be taken against them. The law bans advertising of tobacco products on posters, billboards, banners, and drawings. Advertising of tobacco products on any type of vehicle is also against the law. Tobacco consumption was responsible for the deaths of approximately 15,000 Cambodians, equivalent to 290 lives lost every week, according to a 2017 UN report. And now business. Prime Minister Hun Sen in South Korea earlier this week said trade volume with the country last year reached more than $1 billion. Mr. Hun Sen was in Seoul to attend the Universal Peace Federation World Summit 2020. While he was there, he noted two-way trade with South Korea hit $1 billion mark last year. Of that, exports to South Korea amounted to $335 million, while South Korean imports were valued at $696 million. He said, quote, this is an imbalance in trade. Of course, this is not because of our high demand for South Korean goods, mostly automobiles and televisions. Trade volume between Cambodia and South Korea has continuously increased. This cannot be separated from the good diplomatic relation between the governments. Mr. Hun Sen noted Cambodia imports linen, beverages, electronics, pharmaceutical and plastic products from South Korea. Cambodian exports to South Korea are mostly garments, electronics, shoes, beverages, bags, rubber and pharmaceuticals, cardboard and agricultural products. Mr. Hun Sen in Seoul said the kingdom and the republic have begun conducting a feasibility study over a free trade area agreement. He added, quote, when it comes into the reality, this will allow Cambodia another opportunity to expand its market in South Korea. In late November, an agreement to conduct the study was signed between South Korea Trade Minister Yoo Myung-hee and Cambodian Commerce Minister Pan Sorasa in Busan. It could take a year to conduct. That is all for this week. Don't forget to like and share if you find this edition informative. Be sure to comment and let us know what you think. On behalf of the team, have a good weekend.